All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another day of Kalamazoo College basketball. Today we have the Hornets going up against the Kenyon Owls out of Ohio. I'm Quentin Powers, here today joined by Maya, can you pronounce your last name for me? I'm so sorry.
Maya Pasillas. You are all good.
Okay, this is our first time on the broadcast together here today, and I'm really excited to be sharing the mic with you because it's going to be a pretty good game. It's one of the first home games of the season for the girls team, and it's both of our first times watching them live here today. So Maya, what are some things you're seeing, things you're interested about here today?
Yeah, definitely. This is like my home opener for the women's basketball team. Again, did do a couple games last year, so I'm familiar with their game. I just am curious to see kind of how it's developed into this season. I mean, you're kind of seeing the warm-up now. You're seeing how they're moving fluid. I mean, it looks like it's going to be good. Their main issue last year a lot of the times was the turnover rate and just how quickly they would let go of that ball, and kind of the possession was not really on their side. So I'm kind of seeing how they maybe attack that issue. Maybe if that's changed a little bit since that last season. You got a lot of new players on the roster. You got a lot of talent. It's just how they utilize that, how they move things around. So a lot of questions, I think, land within their defense, too. Offensively, what tempo are they going to be running, right? How fast do you want to play this game? Personally, I think sometimes slowing down the game, really settling down in the first quarter before picking up that fast tempo is what I want to see from them. But, again, overall super excited. You already know the vibes that it is here in KZoo, right? It's finals week. A lot of these players dealing with finals themselves. It's a student-athlete kind of struggle, right? They're going to have to kind of weigh out the stress of both things. And I think the game of basketball, in terms of when I've spoken to a lot of the women's players here, they say it gives them like kind of this opportunity to let off a lot of steam, right? You can be like really stressed out, whether it's that bio class, that economics class, that business class, whatever it may be. They say when they get on the court, they kind of have that time to play it off. So I expect to see a lot of, let's just say, a lot of effort on the court. I feel like they're going to be laying off a lot of steam from what this finals week has kind of done to them. Right,
and that's really good insight there. And I also think coming into the season ranked 5th in the preseason poll in the MIAA, and with an 0-4 start, you start to get a little worried. I mean, it's a little bit not necessarily disappointing, but a little bit concerning for the team as a whole, and trying to find those players to kind of take the lead. And we know Hogan and Vanderstel are usually able to do that, but again, a little bit of a slow start for both of those players here today and for the last few games.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. Again, it has been a little bit of a slow start from this Hornet team, but I mean, that's kind of been the story for a lot of the athletics teams here. They tend to take a minute to warm up. They tend to take a second to kind of really get into the season. So you got to keep in mind, it's only been 3-4 games, right? So they still got a lot to work on. They have a lot of time to fix it up to when it starts to get that dangerous. Of course, any team wants to set down their feet early, right? Any team wants to get comfortable early. But with this team in particular, I think sometimes it takes a minute to settle in, and that's okay. So, again, a little bit of a disappointing start, and I think all the players and the coach would agree with that. But I think there's a lot of room for kind of seeing where that can change. And there is a lot of talent on this team, which I keep mentioning. There's just so many ways that you can utilize every different player and kind of utilize them to your advantage. And it's just about finding that key, finding that specific code that's going to get them that win every time. So if that takes them a couple games to figure that out, then I think you got to allow them that grace.
Yeah, I 100% agree there. We're going to let our announcer take it away here for the national anthem and the starting lineups.
Kalamazoo College and Kenyon College have many proud traditions. Poor sportsmanship is not one of them. Student athletes' involvement in intercollegiate activities contributes to the development of their core values of fairness, integrity, honesty, and respect. These values are an integral part of a competitive yet positive game environment. Kalamazoo College, the MIAA, and the NCAA promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. Profanity, racist, or sexist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at student athletes, coaches, other officials, or other fans is not permitted and will not be tolerated during this afternoon's game. As always, we remind you to be loud, be proud, and be positive. At this time, we invite everyone to stand. Gentlemen, please remove your caps. Join us as we honor our country with the playing of our national anthem. Now let's meet the starting lineups. For Kenyon, at guard number 4, Susanna Zimmerman. For the Hornets, at guard 5'5" freshman from Grand Rapids, number 10, Samaje Robertson. For the Owls, at guard number 5, Grace Murphy. For Kalamazoo, at guard 5'7" junior from Cedar, number 20, Ruby Hogan. For Kenyon, at guard number 11, Tiana Malamashi. For the Hornets, at guard 5'9" sophomore from Brighton, number 2, Sophia Moore. For Kenyon, at guard number 3, Alyssa Horsley. And Kalamazoo at forward, 6-foot sophomore from Kalamazoo, number 44, Elise Baldwin. For the Owls at center, number 31, Anissa Hardy. And for the Hornets at forward, 6'1" senior from Plainwell, number 22, Lauren Vanderstel. Kenyon is coached by Mary Corbett, assisted by Brittany Stavolpe and Jack Bonafiglio. Head coach for the Hornets is Ryan Clark, assisted by Kelsey Howell, Tyler Stewart, and Valerie Repka. Special thanks to our officials this afternoon, Christina Massa, Errol Beatty, and Richard Sinkler.
Alrighty, there you have it. You hear our starting lineups today for both teams. Real quickly, talking about Kenyon, coming off a win last night against Olivet, played very, very well in a really close game, trying to continue that trend here tonight. Vanderstel with the tip, gives it to Hogan. And here come the Hornets. Hogan takes the drive inside to Robertson, back out. Hogan surveying around. Takes it in, trying to find someone, looks for Bauman, unable to get it there.
Yeah, really good read there by Kenyon. I mean, overall, you're going to see Hogan really try to get into that paint, and they're responding well so far.
3-second violation.
All right, a 3-second violation early on in this game against Kenyon. Kenyon got to get out of that paint.
Yeah, again, when you have someone like Ruby Hogan on your side, you're going to see a lot of paint work, right? You're going to see her drive and push into that middle, and that's something that Kenyon probably has worked on in terms of how they can respond to her.
Robertson now has the ball on the top of the key. She's leading this team right now in points scored this season. Robertson takes it inside, open layup, and it's good for the first points of this game.
Well, there you go. When you focus too much on Hogan, sometimes that opens up the lanes for others. And right there, you can't leave it too wide for Robertson. She makes it hurt. She scores in the first 2 of the night.
And here comes Kenyon. Hardy on the inside, draws the foul. She's going to be going to the line here for 2.
Yeah, Bauman tried to get her hands up there, but you seen it was just a little bit late. She put her hands up after the whistle, and that's probably actually similarly enough, last season kind of had that same issue where it's kind of a little late to pick up your hands, and then you get the call, and there was no point in lifting up those hands after.
And Hardy's going to drop the first one. And, yeah, this Hornets team, early in this game still, going to want to stay clean against Hardy. She will make you pay for it in the paint. And now Hogan going to take up the ball here, give it right to Robertson. Going to have to break this 2-3 zone. And an early call against Hogan. I believe it was a reach-in from Malabashi. And a little bit of a late call, kind of some confusion, I believe, from the Kenyon roster.
Yeah, 100%. But either way, it's just how quick Hogan is moving. You can tell she wants to set the tempo fast here.
Now Moore at the top of the key, finding Vanderstel on the outside. Hogan looking at the hoop, thinks about shooting it, gives it inside to Elise. Real nice pass to Booman, and she gets the bucket. A great pass from Hogan.
Yeah, really good eyes. You mentioned how Hogan was looking up to the rim. She hesitated, seen the pathway for Bauman, and then there you go.
And Murphy now giving it right back inside to Hardy. Vanderstel tries to get the rebound, loses it, able to recover.
Yeah, surprised that there was no call there as the hands all got tangled up.
And Hogan uses her strength on the inside, but they give it outside to Vanderstelt. That's a 3 early here from Vanderstelt. Boy, if she starts hot, it's going to keep rolling.
Vanderstelt really setting the tone for the Hornets right now. And the Hornets on this a little bit of a scoring run here, seeing if they can keep this alive.
Horsley going inside, working on Robertson. Robertson, a great tip to get the steal. Fast break from Hogan. Hogan with the lay, just a little off. Moore gets it though, and recovers again. Ball goes back outside. Robertson now gets a screen from Bauman. Robertson trying to find Bauman on the inside. Just not enough juice on that pass. Hardy gets the tip, but it's going to stay Kalamazoo possession.
But just notice how the Hornets doing a really good job of just kind of working up plays here. Like, it feels like it's straight off the chalkboard, right? It's 1-2 passes, really complete, and it looks like every player is kind of taking an extra second to look up at their positioning at the court and see who else can I dish it out to, who else can kind of secure those 2 points.
That's exactly right, and Robertson's going to keep running that type of pick and roll play. Hogan doing the same. Picks her pass up a little too early, and that's going to be a turnover. And Zimmerman now on the fast break. Working on Robertson, gets it inside. Layup just a little bit off. Rebound by Pomerantz, though. Now 3-ball from Murphy. Also off. Now Hogan really had to recover there. Had to end the possession.
Yeah, Hornets getting a little bit lucky to come out of that one alive.
And it looks like Zimmerman is going to be called for the push on Hogan. Hogan, even at her size, is really a physical player, able to make the difference in the paint.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Hogan, again, a dual sport athlete, right? So you get to see her on the field, on the court. I mean, it's really amazing to see, and just how powerful of a player she is, how quick tempo she is.
Yeah, she is the difference maker here. And now Vanderstelt's going to be at the top of the key. The height advantage here is pretty obvious, but loses it there. Now Robertson with 8 seconds on the shot clock has to make a decision. Tries to take it inside. Hogan, 4 seconds, passes to Vanderstelt. Vanderstelt's got to get a shot off. Gives it back to Hogan. Hogan just a little short there. Now the scramble. And Kalamazoo's going to retain possession. Trying to take advantage of that, and does with a nice lay from Hogan.
Yeah, right there, you seen Hogan kind of get her eyes up. She's seen that she didn't really have a clear pathway to anyone. If anything, maybe a connection to Robertson could have been made, but did the right decision there to kind of take that herself.
Now Zimmerman loses the ball, thankfully gotten by Horsley. Now we see Malabashi go into the paint, a little too high on that ball.
Yeah, she was not afraid of Vanderstelt right there, showing no fear, went one-on-one, just a little bit off.
Now Hogan taking it inside. Had a little bit of a shutter step, unable to finish on that layup though. Now Zimmerman trying to set up this offense for Kenyon. Got to slow it down, start to find a rhythm on the offense here. Zimmerman again looks inside to Horsley. Horsley a little bit of a height advantage and gets the foul called on Robertson.
Yeah, it's still really good play defensively by Robertson right there. Obviously did not get the call that they wanted, but either way, with the height mismatch a little bit, Robertson doing a really good job defensively. It just being, you got to be annoying, right? You got to get on players. You got to get your hands out, but you got to keep it clean. And right there, she just lost a little bit of that cleanliness.
And that first one drops there for Horsley. And we also see Hogan is taken out for a quick break. Robertson and Wilkes probably going to lead this offense on the 1 and 2 guard. So yes, here comes Robertson, setting up the offense here. Still trying to break this defense from Kenyon. It's worked so far. Vanderstelt, top of the key. Passes out to Robertson. Robertson calling something. Looking for the screen and loses it off her foot. Thankfully recovered by Dinda. And Wilkes back out to Dinda. And Dinda just loses it on the inside. So a little quick fast break possession for Kenyon. Horsley with the shot. And a nice shot from the, believe just a little bit inside, a mid-range jump shot there. And now a little bit of confusion from the referee. I guess they're trying to get their subs in nice and quick here right now. So Hogan's going to be coming back in, and looks like we're going to get one of these media timeouts, which I'm always confused about. I never understand why, but
yeah, you got to take a second, I guess. You got to give us time to talk a little bit to everybody and kind of break down what's going on,
true.
Right?
Very true.
I mean, just seeing off what I'm going off, right? It hasn't been a lot of minutes. It hasn't been a lot of time. It's been some good connections down in the paint to keep in mind. Again, Hogan doing a lot of that playmaking ability. She's using that a lot. However, in general, as a whole, I think there's been a lot of hesitation. You've seen it a lot, and sometimes it's worked out where they kind of take that extra second, they take that extra breath, kind of look around and see, should I really take that shot? Should I take that three? And again, this is not a team that's primarily a three-point shooting team, but either way, it seems like they're taking a little bit too much time, and they're giving Kenyon just that much extra time to be like, let me sneak my hand in there, let me get that interception, kind of let me break up their play, let me break up their tempo. So that's definitely something that they want to respond to, and I kind of see them having trouble with that just a tad.
Yeah, and these confidence issues have shown sometimes, as you said, making too many pauses when you can have an easy shot ahead of you. Now Kalamazoo running a little bit of a smaller lineup with Vanderstelt on the bench getting a quick break. And Hogan going to take this one up top. Bauman gives her the screen. Looking to the corner, Wilkes pressured. Finds Bauman inside. Bauman out to Hogan. Hogan swinging. Finds the corner to Wilkes. Wilkes with the three ball. A little too long.
And that was just the perfect makeup. Now you just got to clean up that finishing third. That final shot, you got to clean it up.
Now Zimmerman here for Kenyon. They found a couple shots here after a slow start, and Horsley on the inside putting some work on the Hornets, but unable to complete there. So Wilkes has got the ball, giving it to Hogan. And now Allen with the three ball, just a little short, but a good board from Hogan. Gets it right back and cleans up the miss.
And that's what Hogan can bring, right? She was at the right time, the right spot. I mean, you can't get any better than that. Immediately off the miss, goes back in and drives into the paint and gets that layup.
And now Pomerantz trying to put some work on Bowman. And Bowman, great defense, way to stand tall. Hogan losing it though. And the foul is going to be called on Kenyon. A little too much, a little too handsy there, I guess you could say.
Yeah, definitely. Again, this Hornet team already moving a little bit quicker in tempo. And I got to say, for the first time, again, I mentioned how I do prefer that slower tempo for that first quarter. I got to agree with them here. I think if they kind of keep that quick tempo up and don't allow Kenyon to kind of set their defense, they have a little bit more time to work into the paint and utilize those shot-making players here.
Wilkes now looking inside to Bauman. Bauman has to jump on it, but unable to hold the ball there.
Yeah, don't be fooled by Bauman's face mask. I mean, she is willing to put her body on the line right there. You've seen it diving for the ball. And, I mean, it always just helps to have a player that's willing to put that much effort into a play to keep it alive for that much longer. Bauman definitely doing her work defensively today.
She is a very physical player. Now Pomerantz gives it outside to Winston. Winston. Horsley looks for the three ball. She does. A step around. Just a little off on the air ball. And Horsley now is going to be taken out.
Yeah, but that reveals a lot, right? You can't leave Horsley out with that much space, that much time to make the decision to make that shot, especially knowing that's one of their highest point-producing players.
Right. If she's got that sort of confidence, Kalamazoo will take note of that. And now Dinda almost got the turnover there. Now Bauman with a great pass from Hogan. That's this classic pick and roll action right there for the Hornets.
There you go, and you're going to want to kind of applaud the height that Bauman is gifted with. I mean, able to get to the rim real quick and just make sure that's a quick point for the Hornets.
And now the miss from the Owls is going to result in a fast break possession from Hogan. And that layup is just a little bit off. She was surprised how open she was with so many people on her, I think. She was expecting the contact.
And that's that transition play. If you keep that quick tempo, then Kenyon doesn't really have time to set up that defense.
And now Oberster is going to get the foul called. And Dinda is going to be resulted with that personal foul. And now we see Hardy come back in for the Owls after a little bit of a break in this first quarter. We trust we'll see a lot more action from her in this game. And Oberster drops the first. And drops the second. So subs coming in for Oberster, and Malabashi is going to be coming in for you here.
Yeah, and I want to talk a little bit more about Elise Bauman. I mean, she is just so crucial to their game, kind of in that post area, right, with her height and her ability to get physical with players. You can see how she opens up those lanes, those channels, always ready for a pass. And when you pair her up with Sophia Moore, it gets dangerous.
And the three ball miss from Dinda had the confidence. It looked good, but just toilet bowls out of there. Now Kenyon with the three ball, and it's good from Catherine Organ.
Yeah, she did not let that tight corner space get to her there. Took the time, took a breath, took the step, and took the three.
Hogan now trying to put some work in and have a quick answer right back. Vanderstel on the inside. Turnaround Jay just a little short. And now Kenyon has some time to reset and keep this momentum swinging. Now Hardy gives it out back to the three-point line, and Winston, another air ball from the top of the key for the Owls.
Really good pressure applied by the Hornets right now, but you can see Hardy just a little upset with that kind of missed shot there. Maybe she thought that was all in, but when you're applying good defense the way that the Hornets are doing so, it gets a little hard to make those shots.
Still early in this one for both teams, trying to find their rhythm here, and Vanderstelt attempts to find it again, and that's a three ball from Vanderstelt. 2 3 balls from her today. And Kenyon now really has to find an answer with only a few seconds left on the clock. back outside of Winston. Winston kicks it right back to her. She's got to shoot it, and unable to. A great defensive possession from the Hornets. They're pumped up, and some early success here for the defense on Kalamazoo College. Man, that's great to see, isn't it?
Oh, really great to see. I mean, just how excited that bench got. All the coaches, all the assistant coaches fired up with that defense, and that just goes to show you it's not always about offensive power sometimes. Sometimes what carries the momentum is the defense and how well you can shut out and close out a quarter, and that's exactly what you want to see if you're the Hornets. You want to see good defense. You want to see good offense. Now it's kind of all pairing together and showing some nice stuff right now, right? 16-11. I mean, overall, just really great play. And I can't even say that Kenyon has a lot to fix on right. It's just been a really good game. Well, really good quarter for the Hornets as of now.
Yeah, they definitely have some confidence on the defensive end. And offensively, that screen action is really, really working. I mean, Bauman able to get those screens and find herself open in the paint consistently. And when you have all the focus on the paint, that leaves someone open. And Vanderstelt able to convert on 2 3-pointers early in this one. And this lineup, I think, is the lineup for the Hornets right now. They've got a lot of experience with those 5 right there.
100%. I got to say, Ruby Hogan just setting up all the plays, right? You've seen she had a good couple of assists, right, where she just has, I don't know where she gets the eyesight, sometimes having eyes at the back of your head, right? Turns around, lets go of that pass, and then boom, you got an assist into maybe a 2 points, 3 points, whatever it may be. She's been on top of her playmaking abilities as for that first quarter.
And now we're ready to kick off the second quarter. Clock has been set. A new 10 minutes for, right now, the Kenyon offense to prove themselves. Now Zimmerman, the known ball handler for the Owls, loses it against Hogan. Now there's a dive on the floor, and that's a jump ball. Hornets again rallying on defense to stop the possession, and the Hornets with a fantastic turnover. And now Robertson's going to come in for Dinda, but again.
Especially when it's against someone like Zimmerman, who is also another offensive power for Kenyon. The fact that they were able to shut that down, get that jump ball call, and then now regain possession, that's more positives for the Hornets.
And another 3-ball from Vanderstelt doesn't go in, and a quick possession here for the Owls. Really tough layup, great defense from Robertson on that one. Now Hogan trying to take advantage of the speed again. Vanderstelt had an opening, doesn't take it though. Hogan to Bauman, Bauman inside to Vanderstelt. Vanderstelt working, and does over top of Horsley. She's in a groove, isn't she?
Vanderstelt already with 6 on the day, and now she's gonna bump it up to 8. I mean, again, you talk about groove, you talk about tempo, anything you talk about, Vanderstelt has got it right now.
Now Malabashi finds inside to Hardy. Hardy right back out. And another jump ball for the Hornets. This one is going to stay with the Owls, but Grace Murphy hesitated on the 3, tried to get the pump fake, and a really great read from Robertson to halt that play there.
Yeah, and that's that read Robertson provides, right? Just able to kind of see the play forming. She knows exactly how to break it up, kind of make Kenyon hurt just a tad.
And now Hardy with a tough and 1 bucket. And there was definitely some contact there, but too much room to get the shot off after the foul. And so Hardy is going to have 1 here at the line to convert the 3-point and 1 if it does fall. And it does. This is a team that gets to the line a lot and has been very successful this year when doing so. Hogan now, Vanderstelt. Kenyon running a little bit of a half-court press, and they're going to call the foul on Malabashi. Malabashi, I think, is going to have to be called out simply because it's their second foul right now, and, you know, if you get into foul trouble early, it's not a good sign, especially for one of your better players in Malabashi. So
yeah, you got to keep an eye on it, especially with such a tight game, right? This game's probably going to continue closer and closer.
And now Hogan's going to be called for the travel. Just lost her footing, and Hogan might argue for the foul there, but they're not going to give it to her.
And that travel call can be a little bit telling. Sometimes Hogan, if she moves a little bit too quickly, she is sitting pretty comfortable into this game. But as soon as she starts moving a little bit too quickly, sometimes those mistakes tend to happen.
Now Horsley with the turnaround finds Hardy on the inside. Hardy, too easy. When she gets down there, she's almost automatic.
Yeah, and Baumann did everything right there, kept her hands straight up. I mean, really no foul trouble there at all. She did exactly what she needed to do defensively. Hardy just able to get around it.
Now Moore with the flash out to Hogan. Hogan with the 3 ball. A little bit off, but Moore with a great rebound. Vanderstelt with another. Vanderstelt fighting for it after the miss, and Hardy able to stand strong. Now Kenyon going to take advantage of this 3-on-2. Found Horsley in the corner, but nothing happened there. Now Murphy back inside to Hardy, letting her work, and another foul is called. Hardy just keeps getting to the line here tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely something that Baumann's going to have to answer to all day today. I mean, Hardy just really good at finding her way into that paint, really good at getting that foul call. It's hard to answer, but you're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah, and now we see Josie Cook come in for the Hornets. Baumann has to take a seat after, I believe, her second, maybe third foul on the day. And Hardy drops that one, making this a 1-point game. And if this one converts, we've got it all tied up here in Kalamazoo. And it does. So 18-18 right now. Sub is coming in to give Hardy a break. And Pomerantz is going to be taking her place here.
Yeah, Hardy 3 for 3 on free throws there. I mean, you can't continue to give up fouls to her if she's going to go 3 for 3.
And now Kalamazoo really needs an answer to this half-court press. And Vanderstelt, good flash from Cook outside to Moore. Moore with the 2-point bomb. It looked like it was a 3, but just a little too inside.
Yeah,
but a great shot either way.
Gave a lot of room to Moore, and Moore just making it count. I mean, you've seen her kind of take the step. You've seen her have the time. She made it. I mean, the arch on the shot itself, you know it was going to go in.
And now Kenyon. Horsley to Murphy, Zimmerman with the 3-point bomb as well. Does not fall. Hogan playing fast, keeping this pace up, and Robertson going inside. Confident as ever, makes the layup. She makes it look easy out there.
Robertson showing why she can also drive into that paint, why she can also start those plays. Right there, making it hurt for Kenyon.
And now Kenyon trying to answer back. Horsley right on the corner, trying to get in the inside on Robertson. And now Kalamazoo has a chance to completely stop possession, but the and one from Horsley. Too much body from Cook, and that's going to bring her to the line. We've seen that exact play from multiple players on this Kenyon team so far.
Horsley is 2 for 2 on free throw attempts, so sitting pretty comfortable at that line.
And that one does drop, so staying comfortable here today. 1-point game, Kalamazoo is leading with 6 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in this quarter. Now they've stopped this kind of half-court zone they were running, which allows Kalamazoo to get back into their offense here. Robertson tries to find Vanderstelt on the inside. Vanderstelt dribble pull-up, a little short.
And you've seen the
within 10 feet, yeah.
Yeah, you've seen the conversation happen really quickly between Vanderstelt and Hogan. Again, Hogan a very open option in that last play, and Vanderstelt decides to take the shot.
Yeah. And now Kenyon, Horsley handling the ball, gives it out to Murphy. Now with 6 seconds on the clock, they have to get something going. Horsley, pull up, just a little off. She did let it fly, but Hogan gets the rebound. Finds Moore on the outside. Moore had some momentum. And Cook with the 3, just a little too long on that shot there.
Yeah, it could be hard for someone like Cook, who hasn't really stepped on the court that too much often, especially when pertaining to that first quarter. So can take a little bit of time to settle in. Gave up that kind of open three-point shot. She had that extra second to settle. That's definitely something she's going to want to have back.
100% there, and now Kenyon able to have an answer and take the lead here. And they're going to be called for another foul. I believe Robertson is going to take that one.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot on it, but Robertson's going to have to be careful, and I'd expect her to get subbed off, and will.
Yeah, Wilkes is going to be coming back in. Interesting, a lot of these calls not necessarily on the floor, majority of them shooting fouls, and Horsley is going to go back to the line and is going to drain the first one. And when you're automatic from the free throw line, it shows you have a lot of experience and are one of the teams to kind of watch out for. It's one of the smaller things in the game, but if you add up all those points, it really can make all the difference.
Yeah, I'd expect the timeout if it gets a little bit too much out of hand. But, again, something they want to keep an eye on as for the Hornets is just these foul calls. It's really eating them up right now. It's kind of what closed up the game and given the lead over to Kenyon.
Now Hogan taking the inside, passes out to Miller. Miller with a nice mid-range shot. You'd like to see Brittany Miller get some action early in this game. Another one of those players who can heat up quick.
That was just smooth from Miller. I don't know if you've seen that, but she just seems so calm in the way that she set up her feet, took a second, and took the shot.
Now, Munoz misses that one. So Hogan trying to take advantage again, keeping this pace up. A nice spin move in the paint, back out to Dita. And Wilkes on the outside, slowing it down. Screen from Vanderstelt. Looks inside. Miller's wide open. Perfect offense in motion from the Hornets right now.
She is just so calm, such a calm aura that you just don't sense her when she's in the paint. Felt like she appeared out of nowhere.
And some great defense from Hogan on the inside against Zimmerman. Wilkes with the ball finds Vanderstelt. Vanderstelt doubled and calling the foul on the floor. Not certain who that one's on, but it looks like it's going to be Horsley, which I think that would make a little bit more sense. I don't believe that Snodgrass had the foul there, so.
Yeah, and we've seen also Munoz, who looks to be defending this kind of throw in here, but after the timeout get called, I was going to mention how they brought on Munoz onto the court. Her doing her job really was, well, just kind of breaking up play as for the Hornets. Don't really let them build too much. So already causing an impact as soon as she steps onto this court.
Yeah, and now with immediate timeout, they get the chance to talk this one over. And, I mean, Kalamazoo looks pretty great on offense, I have to say. They've got something rolling. Defensively, though, it's just been a real big problem in the paint. Just a lot of fouls, and there's been some good defensive possessions, but when Kenyon gets the ball in the paint, they're a scary team to play against.
Yeah,
they're very efficient.
And talking about fouls, right, in terms of personal fouls, you have Kalamazoo sitting with 7, Kenyon with 5. So not the biggest difference, but I think it's like more about the time in which these fouls occur, right? The game was really open kind of in that first quarter. They tend to keep Kenyon doing a really good job of keeping it close, and that's kind of when the Hornets would give up those foul calls and offer that opportunity for them to kind of go on a scoring run, right? If you give Kenyon that opportunity, they're going to take it. They're going to run with it, and they're going to take that lead, which is exactly what happened as the Hornets have to try to respond.
100%, and Kalamazoo right now have a chance to bring their lead up on this possession. Vanderstelt now finds Ruby Hogan on the inside, wide open. Just a slip in the defense from the Owls there.
Yeah, that's got to be a hiccup if you've ever seen one from Kenyon defensively. You never want to leave Hogan with that much room. And now Hogan with a takeover.
And Hogan, easy turnover into easy action. Man, 2 quick buckets from Hogan, back to back.
Yeah, Hogan making sure Kenyon doesn't get too much time to settle into that point-making run that they had. Kind of broke all that momentum up, and now it's on the Hornets to keep it up.
Now we see Munoz take it inside confidently on Wilkes, and Wilkes draws the foul, had her hands up, but again, if you give a little push with your body, you're always going to be called there. And we see Hogan tell Wilkes, hey, you know, you had your hands up, but again, if you any sort of body at all, they're going to call it, especially in this game. We've seen the refs a little bit more strict on those calls, so
yeah.
Munoz going to go to the line.
Munoz on the line for the first time, has a 50% on the season on that line.
And it looks good, so goes straight in. And she drops the second. Couple subs are coming in right now for Kenyon. So Munoz is going to take a seat. Oberster is going to replace her. And Hogan now. A lot of momentum on her back. Let's see if she can keep it going. Wilkes now at the top of the key, calls it for Vanderstel. Wilkes had a little bit of an opening, just loses it. Would have been an easy layup.
Yeah, she found the lane, she found the path, and then kind of took a deflection off of her foot. And then from there, she wasn't able to regain possession. Unfortunate, but would have been a good run there.
And now Zimmerman showing her savvy as the guard on this team, not allowing Hogan to get any sort of touches on it. And Zimmerman, a really great move for a nice shot. About a 7-foot shot. That's an easy pull-up and made it look easy.
Yeah, Zimmerman especially fighting through all the pressure. She had about 4 Hornets on her. Still able to get the shot off cleanly.
And Dinda from deep. Unable to connect, but Vanderstel able to recover. And now Wilkes wide open from the three-point line. Bounces a few times, but unable to connect. A couple missed threes in a row there for the Hornets.
Yeah, unfortunate for Wilkes. It just took the wrong couple of bounces there.
Now they find inside. Hogan jumps a little too early on Oberster. And another shooting foul for this Owls team.
Yeah, you got to tip your hat off a little bit to Oberster, able to kind of take an extra hesitation, right, and kind of cause that foul. Hogan thought Oberster was going to go immediately to the hoop, and that just wasn't the case. Took an extra second to kind of hesitate and force that foul call.
And a big part of the game nowadays is getting into the paint, drawing the contact, and sometimes drawing that contact is more important than getting the shot up, because it's real easy to miss that close when you have such tough defenders on the inside. And Oberster drops the second one after missing the first. 1 for 2 on that trip. Now we see more come in for Miller. And Hogan and Vanderstel still leading the way on this team with their presence on the court. Hogan finds Vanderstel on the outside. Vanderstel looking at this kind of weave they're rolling right now, resetting it. Hogan a little bit of room after the screen from Moore. Hogan 1-2, tries to get the lay, unable to connect on the layup, and now Kenyon slowing the pace down, giving it to Hardy on the inside, as they normally do. She does lose it, and Oberster getting a little ISO, and Hardy with an easy lay over Vanderstel. Gosh, again, a really nice shot from Hardy on the inside.
It's just, how can you answer to Hardy when she's just having such a great night? So hard to just stop her, especially when she gets into that zone, especially once she steps onto that paint.
Vanderstel with the three, just a little short on that one. It was deep. And now Dinda, way to fight for it. This one is, I believe, going to stay with the Hornets, if I am correct. And way to fight for it there from Dinda, the hustle. I got to wipe up some sweat, though. That's just what happens.
Yeah, but as you were saying, Dinda just really good heads-up play there, able to fall with the ball. I don't know if you've seen that, her momentum going forward. She's seen the ball was behind her and just lets herself drop backwards. So really heads-up play there, able to maintain possession for the Hornets.
Yeah, and Dinda, one of those players who has a lot of hustle on the court, but also not afraid to shoot it. When those shots start to fall, she's a really confident scorer for this Hornets team. Haven't seen a lot of her this year simply because it's early, but again, able to figure that out. And now it looks like referees are talking something over. Uncertain what the case is, but might be something with the clock here.
Yeah, maybe trying to attribute an extra second or two. Not exactly sure. Looks like they're going to stick with the original time. You got 59.2 seconds on the clock.
And now Hogan sees the open lane. Easy layup from Hogan. That's just a slip in defense from Munoz. And now Munoz taking the ball up, down by 2. Going to want to get a shot here with a minute left in this quarter.
You'd expect that dish out right there to Hardy.
And Murphy now looking for Hardy on the inside, unable to find her. And this one's going back to the Hornets. Too much contact from Hardy there.
Now they really got to slow it down. You only got a 1 point difference, a 1 second difference. You got 31 seconds on the board, and then you got your regular 30-second shot clock. So Hornets able to hold on, then you can really force a difficult point for Kenyon if you just hold on as long as possible.
And the Hornets now. Hogan is going to take some time off the clock here.
Surprised Munoz is not pressing more.
Yeah, and I understand Hogan is a dangerous player. Hogan knows she's a dangerous player, and now 10 seconds on the clock. Going to try to get the screen from Vanderstelt. She has some room. Gives it to Vanderstelt again. A nice pass from Hogan. And now with 3 seconds on the clock, Munoz got to give it up and take the shot, but that one was unable to get off in time. And so a great possession from the Hornets. That classic pick and roll working once again for Hogan and Vanderstelt.
Yeah, honestly, not a lot to say on that one there, right? Finishing off the second quarter, they're able to get 18 across on the second quarter. And just, wow, I mean, you got to take a second to just realize the connection that Hogan and Vanderstelt is having so far in this game has been instrumental to how the Hornets are playing, just how clean that connection is happening, how quick it's happening. And it's almost to the fault of Kenyon not able to kind of recognize that and break up that connection, right? I would expect a little bit of more pressure to be applied to either one of those two players to try to break up that play and make sure that they don't have enough time or space to kind of continue dishing it out to Vanderstelt or Hogan. They know that those are the main players that are making those playmaking abilities, right? But then you can't just focus on them, which makes it so hard, right? You got Robertson, who's able to kind of drive into that paint and get another 2 if you need it. So really hard for Kenyon to try to look for the response. They have about 15 minutes to do so. So I'm excited to see what the response will be after the half.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of this offense from Kenyon has come from the line. They haven't necessarily been the most efficient with shots made, but shots from the line have been all the difference here today for the Owls. And offensively for the Hornets, things are in motion, that classic pick and roll, as I said. And to be honest with you, I think that's going to be the main talking point for Kenyon. Offensively, Kenyon's not having too much trouble, but defensively, understanding and recognizing when the pick play is about to happen is very important for the Owls today.
Yeah, and I just had to point it out, right? I kept talking about that connection between Hogan and Vanderstelt. Both of them sitting at 10 points. Both of them leading the Hornets at 10 points each. I mean, it just goes to show, it feels like one of them gets a point, and then you know what? The next one's going to go ahead and get there too as well. So a lot of back and forth between them, and it just goes to show how much their stats are matching each other right now, how much of a pair these two are coming across as. You got Hardy leading for Kenyon, right, with 11 points, and Horsley just under her with 9. So, again, we mentioned how it's mostly going to be Hardy and Horsley, and it goes to show, right, it continues with the stats from the first and second quarter as they lead with 11 and 9 points respectively.
Yeah, and a great showing from both teams, I have to say, in this first half. I'm having a great time watching and having a great time seeing both teams kind of getting their rhythm on offense and defense here and there. So now with around 13 minutes left on this halftime clock, we're going to take a quick breather, maybe get some food while we're at it, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you. Alrighty, folks, welcome back. Halftime is nearly over, and we're about to resume the action here. And as you see, Earlham basketball is walking down below us. The boys team is going to be playing after this one here today. And now, Maya, what are you seeing out there in this matchup with the Owls and the Hornets?
Yeah, it's been a pretty wild matchup, just in the sense of like the connections being made, just how on fire Vanderstel and Hogan are today. I mean, you can't ignore that, right? And I feel like I can be a little bit repetitive when talking about it, right? I just keep mentioning these two players. But when they're causing the impact that they're causing on this game, there's not a lot else that you can talk about. I do want to shout out Robertson, though, on the Hornets side, doing her job as well, right? A freshman coming into the team and still such an important playmaking player. I mean, the way that she comes into the paint, the way that she finds those pathways, and also defensively, how she just causes a lot of trouble for the other team, right? Again, not a lot of help with the height advantage that Kenyon has, but when it's a one-on-one with Robertson, she just tends to get really good defensively, able to kind of pick it out and get those turnovers. Another thing also to keep in mind is, I talked about how the Hornets last season had a little bit of turnover trouble, and in terms of their first 4 games, that trouble continued. I mean, for today, you haven't seen a lot of that. It's been pretty clean in that whole defensive turnout. So, again, both teams playing pretty well. It just seems that the Hornets getting a little bit luckier in making those connections, making those passes, and also just kind of sprinkling plays around, right? We kind of talked off stream a little bit about how important it is to kind of keep mixing up your plays, making sure that the other team doesn't know what's coming. I think the Hornets have really been, utilizing that a little bit here and there. You talked a lot about the pick and roll, utilizing that a lot. So it's just both teams really relying on their playmaking, their point-making players, and just seeing how more can they kind of spread out the wealth and how much they can dish out to their other players. Yeah,
100%. And we talked about the offenses these two teams are running at halftime, and both kind of have a similar system, trying to find their bigs in the paint with Bauman and Vanderstel for the Hornets, and for the Owls trying to find Hardy and Horsley. And it's worked for both teams, but trying to switch it up and create some sort of difference here for the Owls. I mean, they've gotten a lot of shooting fouls called, which has really helped get a lot of points here today. But if Kalamazoo cleans it up on the interior, the Owls are going to have to start to find some other ways to score. But again, second half action has not even started yet. We'll have to see what happens and where it takes us here today. And now we see starting lineup for the Hornets is coming right back out there. Same with the Owls. And Zimmerman is going to be taking the ball up. Hogan putting a lot of pressure on, and Zimmerman takes it inside, finds the paint, picks it up a little too early, pressure's on. Now finds Horsley. Horsley, nice spin move with the left-handed lay over Robertson. A really great early start from Horsley.
Yeah, and that one, I'm going to take the blame on that one, right? I spent a lot of that opening minute to kind of really, got to see if that shot was going to go in or not. Robertson now putting a lot of effort as she lets one go, and that's not going to fall, but just going to see how this play runs out.
And Hogan with a tough rebound finds Bauman, and Bauman able to get a shot up and draw the foul. Yeah. Really great effort from Hogan. Wow, you see that there?
Yeah, what I was going to tell you is that I'm going to take blame for the point earlier, just because I was really hyping up Robertson, maybe put a little bit of that collar curse on her.
Right. But effort on Robertson. I mean, she put a lot of effort to get the rebound as well, and Hogan also getting the rebound in that last possession. Bauman does not drop the first one, and doesn't the second, but Vanderstel able to get the rebound. And now Robertson has some room. A great take from Robertson, but just gets swallowed up from Hardy there. Big contact, but if you're leaning into it, might not always be a call going your way, and Robertson felt that there.
Yeah, I rolled off the body of Bauman just a little bit, and it's going to hand over possession to Kenyon.
Now Zimmerman putting a little ISO there, and Hardy with the pull-up from around 15, unable to make it fall. And Vanderstel blocking this game. I think it's her first, but on the season, averaging around 4 blocks. An incredible statistic, leading the MIAA in blocks per game. So curious to see if that trend continues.
Yeah, 16 blocks on the season for Vanderstelt. So again, really one of those important leaders, as that pass is not going to connect for Kenyon. So overall, Vanderstelt, right, defensively, offensively, coming into play. And we talked about you're either going to have to find an answer to Vanderstelt and Hogan, or you're going to have to start mixing up those playmaking abilities.
And now Hogan finds Vanderstelt on the outside, using her as that utility. And now Vanderstelt gets a screen from Bauman. Excuse me, Hogan got the screen. Now Bauman with the shot does not fall, and Horsley unable to hold on to the rebound. So Hornets going to keep possession here. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Able to reset after a little bit of a confusing set ran. Now Hogan might have gone up and down there. Able to find Bauman though on the inside. No worries for Hogan there, and drops the dime. Now Zimmerman on the outside to Murphy. Murphy finds Molabashi, and Molabashi gives it back outside to Horsley. Horsley again finding Hardy, work on the inside. Hardy turns around, gets her own rebound though, and Molabashi, deep three, just a little short. Hornets unable to hold on to the ball again. Zimmerman trying to go to work. Continues it. Three people on her, unable to convert. Tough shot.
Yeah, Hornets finally able to get the rebound too. You've seen head coach Ryan Clark just losing it.
And now Robertson drops the dime to Hogan. Hogan usually on the other side of that, but gets some points of her own.
Yeah, there you go. And I mentioned how head coach Ryan Clark was losing it. Well, you'd rather have him losing it over positive things rather than negative, right? Losing it over that rebound.
And now Zimmerman answers with a three-point of her own. Haven't seen a lot of it today, but has dropped.
And that's just the type of game it's been, right? It doesn't really let you get your words out. And I mean, I'd prefer this type of game where they just keep going at it, as this one's going to be taken over.
Yeah, and Murphy now with the steal. Vanderstelt lost it. Zimmerman might be feeling herself. She's looking for a shot there. And Hardy again on the inside. Bauman tries to stay strong, but Hardy just such finesse on the inside.
Again, Bauman in a good position, but it's just her angle, right? Giving too much room to Hardy there. Maybe if she turns her body just a little bit more, cause a little bit more distress.
You see that? Oh my gosh. Samaje Robinson is just cutting the defense up whenever she takes it inside. Man. Now Zimmerman, Hogan put a lot of pressure on that there. A little bit of physicality, and Vanderstelt tries to get a tip on Molabashi. Zimmerman letting it fly though. Hardy with the rebound. Hardy goes straight back up with it, misses. A few shots that should have fallen. Unable to connect. And Hogan takes it the other. I don't get a break, Maya.
Yeah,
just
you
constant
are
action.
not going to get a chance to breathe, especially when the Hornets are running in the paint like that. Hogan able to kind of make play of that quick transition play. I mean, just quickly running to the other side. She didn't have a lot of help.
Ooh, and now, believe that was going to be on the floor. Sophia Moore is going to be called on the foul. And so not going to the line on this one, which is a trend we saw a lot in the first half. So breaking that trend here. And Dinda is going to be coming in for Bauman, and Munoz is going to also be coming in for this Owls offense. Munoz finds Horsley on the inside, easy pass, and easy bucket for the Owls right there. Textbook on the inbound.
Yeah, as the Hornets kind of switch into this offense, you soon to see Hogan really drive into that paint.
Vanderstelt with a deep three, unable to connect. Robertson again. Oh, lost her grip though there, and a little bit of a wild shot.
Just before she lost her grip, as this one's good for a three.
Malabashi letting it rain from deep. Made the connection, yes.
Yeah, I was going to mention that Robertson, with the impact that she's having, I want to see a little bit more passed out to her.
And Moore with the miss, but grabs her own rebound, goes straight back up with it. Little too much juice. And so much pressure on the inside. She ends up losing it there. So Kenyon now able to have a chance to take the lead. We see Murphy on the outside. Looking around, and Malabashi gave a little too much contact, trying to get around Dinda. And a little bit of confusion there. These off-ball fouls, have been a little bit of a problem for Kenyon. We've seen a couple of them in the paint with Hardy, and just now with Malabashi, a little. You don't see that all too often. Yeah,
and we're going to get this media timeout, but this time I'm going to be grateful for it. I feel like every time we've tried to get a thought out in this third quarter, something happens where it's going to cut us off. And I just think a lot of positives on both sides right now, but particularly for the Hornets, their driving game is really good right now. Just the way they're able to kind of break up the defense, get in there, even through all the traffic, you're seeing shots get off and shots be on target, and all of that is positive. If your only problem is fixing that final third, which is fixing that final shot that's going to get you those 2-3 points, whatever it may be, you'd rather have that problem than the problem being, hey, we can't build up, we can't make up these plays, we can't build. So you're having all the right problems for the Hornets. Again, Kenyon, they're able to respond most of the time. They're keeping it real tight. They're keeping it close. So it's just who's gonna get cleaner, who's gonna fight those tired legs a little bit better as we finish out the third quarter. And you're going to get into that fourth quarter area and be like, okay, now you're dealing with tired legs. You're dealing with tired people. How can you kind of handle that?
Right, and Hogan now giving some space on the key. And Wilkes called for Vanderstelt, but Hogan, a reverse lay, just a little too short on that one. Able to get into the paint super easily, but not able to connect.
Yeah, and I just want to say, I've seen that idea brewing the whole time. Hogan knew she wanted that reverse layup the whole time she was driving into that paint.
And the two from Oberster does not connect. Hogan, a pretty big fall on the ground, but, I mean, dual sport athlete, she's tough.
Yeah.
Able to take the contact.
Exactly. I mentioned how she is a very physical player. I mean, you should see her on the field. She is just getting all the foul calls that she needs when she's not scoring goals.
Exactly, and now we see a little bit of Malabashi not guarding too closely to Hogan. Hogan going to be tested on three-point line, and now it looks like Munoz got a little bit of a touch.
Yeah, off of the calf of Munoz, and it's going to keep possession with the Hornets. Maybe they can build from here.
And trying to get Hogan open. Hogan able to get the ball, doesn't have a lot of space. Finds Vanderstelt with the double team, and a big foul from Munoz. Going to lead this one for some shooting fouls for Vanderstelt.
Yeah, heads up play from Munoz. She read the play well. Again, it was just kind of that placement of her hands and got the foul call for the Hornets.
And Vanderstelt going to have two here at the line, trying to get out of this little slump they've had, and now drains the first one. And second one off back iron. Rebound by Miller. Rebounds it again, and this one's going to stay. Too much contact from Oberster and Pomerantz, I believe.
Yeah, Miller.
Yeah, Pomerantz.
Miller, another dual sport athlete. I mean, how many dual sport athletes do you got on the team? I mean, there is a lot, but Brittany Miller, really great volleyball player. I mean, my personal nickname for her is Brittany Ace Miller, with just the amount of aces that she gets in volleyball. But right here, doing her job in the rebound area. Now seeing if she can do her job at the free throw line.
And Miller does drop that first one, especially with all these dual sport athletes. I believe the chemistry on these teams can just really be heightened simply because they're all kind of at such a small school, but also such a small, community of student athletes who can really connect with each other and play their heart out on the court and field.
Yeah, especially when all the teams are kind of in season at the same time, right? You get to see all of them in the locker rooms, in the workout room, the weight room, wherever it may be. You spend more time together.
Oh, and a nice pass to Malabashi in the corner. Malabashi unable to connect, and Miller gets the rebound. Man.
That three would have been the cherry on top to that pass. I mean, I would have gotten that assist tattooed on me. That was just beautiful.
It was a textbook play, unable to connect, and now Hornets trying to extend their lead. Miller from the three-point line, able to connect. Bang out from Miller. You like to see it.
And I just keep telling you, Brittany Miller just gets so in the groove. Her aura is so calming. You don't sense the danger until she's already got three on your team.
And now Kalamazoo with a 6-point lead. Kenyon tries to find on the inside. Kalamazoo has some numbers. Dinda deep three. Able to connect from downtown. Dinda with the bucket.
And you don't know Dinda the way I know Dinda. Last season, Dinda would just show up and show out on these threes. I've been holding my tongue all game, but I've been really waiting for her to settle in and get one of these deep threes in, because that is what Taylor Dinda can do.
And a weird but kind of fun fact, during intramural basketball, the ladies team had a couple players, organize a group together and participate in intramural basketball last spring. And Dinda, she was the player to look out for. She was draining threes everywhere. She gave my team a pretty hard time, I can't lie.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, Dinda, when she gets into the groove of that three, especially one like you just seen there, I mean, it's like looking at prime Clayton Clark. Like, she is just so good from so deep into the court. She can get a shot off of anywhere. She can go through traffic. So seeing that she just made that shot, seeing that she might be getting just a little bit more comfortable, I mean, that has to be scary for Kenyon, especially if they're unaware of the power that Dinda can bring.
I 100% agree. And now Kenyon, I don't know, Maya. I mean, what do you think Kenyon needs to do here on offense?
I think Kenyon's just having a little bit of trouble keeping possession, right? You've seen a couple more turnovers, especially in the last couple of plays. So I think if they need to, they got to slow it down. The Hornets are running this really quick tempo, and they are taking charge of that tempo. If they maybe try to slow it down, maybe get a couple of more bounces in and see what you can build from there, you might be able to break up a little bit of the Hornets' momentum. You might be able to break down their plays and get a couple more shots off.
Kenyon really need a bucket on this possession here, and Hogan, gosh, constant on the defense on Zimmerman. Zimmerman lost it on that possession.
And even if Zimmerman wanted to slow it down or not, I mean, you can't do. It's really hard to do so when the pressure that the Hornets are applying is this man-to-man.
And Orberster able to easily get inside and finds Hardy. And that's the game plan right there for the Owls.
And if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? And Hardy just really doing her job in the paint. So if you're going to continue to dish out for her, then you got to continue to defend well and make sure that zone is open for Hardy.
Wilkes with a big three. Keeps the momentum flowing. Answering back. Good to see Wilkes make a shot right there.
Yeah, Wilkes through traffic, through everything, able to get a clean three off. I mean, it felt like she was by herself on the court.
And now Kenyon, after losing the ball, Hogan, constant pressure again on that possession.
And it just feels like you're waiting for them to get tired.
And now we got Malabashi surveying around. Gives herself a little bit of an ISO, grabs her own rebound, and with a couple players on her, not able to connect there. So Hogan taking the ball up, taking this one inside as she does, finds Miller on the cut. Miller with a double. Hogan open on the three-point line, doesn't take it. So Bauman has the chance and drains it over top of Hardy.
And that's got to feel a little bit good for Bauman, right? Especially when she's been dealing with Hardy all day and Hardy really beating everything in the paint, and then Bauman able to get one back up on her. I mean, that's got to feel good.
And Bauman having a pretty good day so far. Hardy trying to answer back with the shot from the free throw line, and Hogan now is going to slow the pace down with their 12-point lead.
Oh, you think it's slowing down, but then Hogan's going to try to drive.
And finds Bauman again. Bauman just consistent on the inside the paint there. And so Zimmerman now has to set up this offense. She knows her weapons. She's just got to find them. Gives it out to Malabashi. Malabashi calling for Hardy. Unable to find Hardy there. She does get up, though, and that's going to be called a travel. So you've got your knee down on the ground there. You can't pick it up or you're going to be called every time.
Yeah, and you got to give credit to Taylor Dinda right there, defensively doing her job, forcing the travel. I mean, just the pressure that she was applying that whole time there, it was like a constant force. It has to get hard to breathe.
And Hogan is going to ice this one out just a little bit here with, I believe, 11 seconds on the clock. And now screen from Bowman. She gives it outside to Dinda. Dinda lets it fly just a little short. And now with 1 second on the clock, Malabashi needs to shoot it. And unable to get a shot off there.
Yeah, not sure if Malabashi was aware of just how little and how quick those seconds were going to fly. But, I mean, especially if you're this late into the game, you want to get those shots off even if you're not even 100% sure you're going to make them. I mean, you got to try to give everything to break up that Hornet momentum, because if you make that shot on the off chance that that goes in, that breaks up a little bit of the momentum that the Hornets are carrying right now into this fourth quarter.
And right now, with all the big shots the Hornets have been making, they've got a 14-point lead. We've seen Hogan and Bowman on display right now. Elise Bowman really showing up on the interior.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about leaders right in points, and Ruby Hogan, you talked about the 14-point gap. Well, Hogan has about 14 right now, so, I mean, maybe you want to attribute it to that, maybe you don't. Vanderstel right behind her with 11, and then Bauman, as you said, with 10. And then the quiet, silent, but deadly force that Brittany Miller is, sitting just at the bottom of that leaderboard with 9. So, again, you've seen kind of how that shooting power, how those points have been kind of shared across the board with the players. It's not the same story for Kenyon, right? Hardy sitting with 15, Horsley with 13, and then you have kind of this gap when it goes into Zimmerman and Malabashi with 5 and then 3. So it's just not the same in terms of spreading the wealth, right? And it just makes it harder, because if you can't reach Hardy, then you don't got a lot of options from there.
It looks like Kenyon is going to be running a little bit of a smaller lineup. We do see Horsley come back in. She was quiet in that last quarter. Probably going to try to find her for this fourth quarter action. Maybe possibly doubling up with Hardy on the interior. But Hornets are going to start with the ball here. Wilkes going outside to Vanderstelt. Bauman some more on the wing. Gives it to Hogan on the top of the key. Hogan had some space. She's looking at the hoop.
Right, every time she gets at the top of that key, she just takes an extra hesitation second as Bauman just goes a little bit too much on it there. It spills out, but Hogan just continues to take that hesitation. I want to see her shoot that 3.
I do too. And now Sophia Moore gets called for a foul. It's her third. And going for the ball there, of course, but again, a little too late. Zimmerman now, the ball handler for this team, going to take the shot near the free throw line, misses. Bauman with a nice, strong board. And Hogan going to set it up for the offense here. Hogan picks it up a little early, still finds Wilkes, and Wilkes is looking for her 2 bigs down low. Vanderstelt with her size, trying to find some space, does find some space and gets the foul called. Murphy just got a little too handsy down there, and it's going to allow Vanderstelt to go to the line.
And that's just so hard if you're on the opposing side and you're going against Vanderstelt, right? Especially when you think, okay, she didn't get the point, but then she got the foul call. So, I mean, it's more of a chance that she is going to get that point at the end of the day.
And that's why we call them free throws. I mean, free shots at the line. You're going to take those all day, and something this ladies team really succeeds at is making the free throws today. And so Vanderstelt drains both of those. And Hogan still applying that pressure on Zimmerman. Man, I would be pretty ticked off if I was Zimmerman today. Hogan's really giving her a hard time.
And, I mean, that can go for almost any player, right? This defense really working well for the Hornets tonight.
And a nice fake from Zimmerman. Just as I was saying, Hogan's giving her a hard time. It looked like she had enough and has some pretty nice finesse in the paint.
Yeah, and that's what happens when a team is going so fast tempo. If you're a team that knows how to handle that, you start taking more of those hesitant shots.
And Vanderstelt, a pretty little hook shot in the paint.
You got to respond right. Vanderstelt and Hogan come 2 in 1 package, and Hogan again beat at the paint against Zimmerman, but Vanderstelt able to respond.
And now the 3-ball from Marzini. Haven't seen a lot of her this game, but getting a little fired up from the 3-point line. Now Hogan looks for Robinson on the outside, doesn't give it to her. Moore finds Bauman. Bauman to Vanderstelt. Vanderstelt with her size gets a foul drawn again. And Vanderstelt kind of in the flow state right now in the paint. Able to find her stride and get to the line here again. And I got to say, Maya, that hook shot earlier on, that's a really good sign.
Yeah, no, that was clean. I mean, it just shows how comfortable she's sitting in this game.
And that first one does drop. I mean, we talk about how your tallest players on your team, you want them to be able to score in all sort of ways, but just a classic hook shot up close is such a pivotal part of the game. We know her boyfriend, actually, Koki, on the men's team, excuse me, he does the exact same type of move, so it's interesting. Maybe they're giving each other some advice there. Anyways, Malabashi takes it inside. A real nice, easy lay from Malabashi there. And now Hogan with the ball, doing some work on Zimmerman. Backs her up, tries to get some space to find the layup. Does find Vanderstelt, though. Vanderstelt unable to connect. You got to drop those ones in.
Yeah, it was good movement from the both of them, and then right there, just that finishing third for Vanderstelt, a little bit off.
And Vanderstelt redeems herself with that block.
Height is just impeccable, right? In the game of basketball, sometimes it just comes in clutch. Well, right there, it shows why sometimes it helps to have it.
Now we see Kenyon give it to Horsley. Horsley been quiet, but Marzini's going to take it inside. Layup just a little bit off. And Bauman gives it to Hogan here. Hogan taking her time, running this play to Robertson on the outside. Robertson looking for Bauman. Bauman has some space and gets fouled by Malabashi. And Malabashi, it might take her out here.
It's just...
yeah, it is her 4th personal foul, as we just heard, so.
Yeah, you got to be a little bit careful, especially now as the minutes dwindle down. But man, Bauman in that face guard, I mean, just reminds me so much of Sue Bird right now. A very pivotal professional women's basketball player. But it's just crazy how comfortable she's in this game right now and just making an influence for the Hornets. So again, really positive to see her kind of sitting comfortable at the free throw line as well.
Yeah, and she drains those, and Bauman having a great game so far. Now Zimmerman, again, trying to come back here, down 15. Zimmerman takes it inside, does lose the ball, though. A good tip by Bowman, and now Hogan taking it up, finds more on the outside. Some quick defense leads into quick offense, but Hardy gets the tip, and Hornets are going to have to reset with 12 seconds on the shot clock.
And if the Hornets are going to want to do those quick transition plays, I mean, I would have rather seen a very long pass out to Robertson. She had a lot of time, a lot of space up there at the top of the court. And then Hogan decides to keep it for an extra second or two.
Hogan has some space, thought about shooting. Now Robertson, 5 seconds on the shot clock, has to make a decision here. They give it to Moore. Vanderstelt on the wing. She's got to shoot it. And it appears they had no idea what was going on. I will say, as shot clock went down pretty quick. I'm uncertain if it was ever reset. But either way, Owls do have the ball here. And Zimmerman going to call the timeout so the Owls can talk this one over.
Yeah, and I think that is a great call, right? You're sitting 66-51 right now. You got a good amount of time to try to close that gap. You got 6 minutes. It'd be a little tough, but you go on a little scoring run here and there, and then, hey, next thing you know, it's only a 2-point difference. So that's definitely something that Kenyon's going to be talking about in this huddle right now, right? Just they got to clean it up and they got to respond better to these plays that the Hornets are setting up. Kenyon just really struggling to respond to all these, just great plays by the Hornets, and just how can you go against that, and how can you kind of think of these different plays? We talked about how they just kept going to Hardy in that first, second quarter, somewhat of that third, but they're having trouble connecting here, and Hardy a little bit quiet in this fourth quarter. So I talked about as soon as that kind of lane closes for them, what else can they kind of count on? And I think that's kind of what they're struggling with right now. What else can kind of be that point-producing player? So it's going to be if they can answer those questions in the final 6 minutes of this fourth quarter.
Yeah, and Kalamazoo finding the answer defensively to the Owls offense. We've seen some really great defense. Fronting on Hardy, able to get in front of her and cut those passes off, and also just able to cut the lanes off in general with those passing possessions. So a really great job from Kalamazoo defensively and offensively, but Kenyon right now looking to get some points on the board in this fourth quarter.
Kenyon also just giving off a lot of fouls. Also something you want to keep in mind for the rest of this quarter.
Now we see Zimmerman gives it to Paquita Munoz, and Munoz goes outside to Horsley. Now we've got Horsley and Hardy in, two powerful offensive players. And that's a turnover from Horsley. A great steal from Wilkes. Wilkes calling for Robertson to come up. And
yeah, credit to Robertson for that turnover, though. Robertson applying a lot of that pressure, able to kind of mess with the ball handling.
And Robertson back outside to Wilkes. Wilkes always looking for the inside to Vanderstelt. Now we see Miller back out to Dinda. Wide open three. Just a little off, but Vanderstelt with the rebound. And Robertson goes back around, unable to convert on the reverse layup, but that's a great shot all day. Now we see Kenyon giving it to Horsley on the outside. Running this double screen, and Zimmerman trying to do some work. Just a little too much on that layup. So Wilkes calling a play for her offense. And now Miller finds Robertson on the outside. Multiple cuts going to the hoop, but Robertson, risky pass, doesn't pay off. So Zimmerman with the steal, pressured by Robertson. Finds Hardy. Hardy down low to Munoz. Munoz almost gets the bucket, but a foul is called.
Well, that was good, really good defensive play there by Kenyon, right? Able to kind of sneak it past, break up the play that the Hornets were setting up on the other half here. They still got more work to be done, right? The minutes are dwindling down. I feel like we just talked about it. It was 6 minutes, and now you're sitting at just under 5, so they're going to have to clean it up and clean it up quick.
And head coach Mary Corbett, I think, drew up this play for Munoz, kind of make that cut from the three-point line and find herself underneath the basket, which she did there. A good draw up. And both of these ones dropped for Munoz, so Malabashi is going to be coming in, though, for Zimmerman. 4 fouls for Malabashi. She's got to be a little bit careful.
And there you go, that high-pressure situation now as the Owls start to figure out, like, hey, our minutes are running out, and the gap just keeps getting wider in terms of points.
Wilkes lets it fly from the three-point line. Vanderstelt able to recover, though. Wilkes gets it back, and Hogan resetting again. Ryan Clark signaling to his players what they want to run here. Dinda on the three-point line again, dangerous. Find Wilkes, shot clock coming down. And shot clock violation. Great defensive possession from Kenyon. Kind of switching it up. The tide is shifting just a little bit there defensively.
Yeah, I got to agree. Kenyon showing positive movement right there, right? Able to kind of shift players really cleanly from person to person, and you see how that pays off. You see just how much good defense pays off right there, able to force a shot clock violation.
And Horsley running this two-player action between her and Hardy. I like that idea, but just a little short there, so jump ball is going to be called. And Munoz is going to throw this ball in, looking for Horsley on the inside again, finds it. And Horsley with the quick fake, unable to convert. Munoz, though, too much contact on Vanderstelt. And Vanderstelt's going to draw that foul. And so we see here Vanderstelt and Hogan trying to find some sort of offense again. They've been a little bit more quiet in these last few minutes of this quarter. Still 13-point lead. Wilkes on the outside finds Dinda at the top of the key. Vanderstelt on the out. Wilkes gets the cut. Hogan wide open on the outside. Hesitates at the three-point line. Bauman now, a nice mid-range shot. Believe just hit the front of the rim. A little too short there. So now Kenyon has a chance to cut this lead down. Kenyon goes inside to Hardy. Hardy, turn around hook. Unable to connect there, so Hogan grabs the rebound. A nice shot by Kenyon. This is the type of play they want to run, but nothing hitting.
Yeah, really good work right now from Kenyon. I mean, it's just about getting that finishing third, and they're just unable to right now.
And Bauman looked like she was in the shooting motion, but all ball from Kenyon. No foul called. Still going to stay possession of Kalamazoo. And only 10 seconds on that shot clock. They got to be aware of this. As of last time, had a little bit of trouble. Vanderstelt, though, is going to have the ball. And now finds Hogan on the outside. Hogan lets it fly from deep. A little bit off. They do grab the rebound, but this one is going to stay with Kalamazoo, yes.
Yeah, good there to be awarded to Kalamazoo, but again, defensively, Kenyon getting up there closer and closer to kind of finding that point that they need to kind of break into and start getting those points. They've been sitting at 53 for a while, so unable to produce yet.
Yeah, and you're exactly right, Maya. And now, with some defensive strengths, sometimes a little too much physicality happens, and looks like Murphy may have gotten too much contact on Wilkes. So Wilkes is going to go to the line. She's been a little bit more quiet today, but has made a pretty great difference in just ball movement and play calling for the women's team today. Wilkes going to want to drop this second one. And does. So Zimmerman speeding up the pace, going straight to attack here, and does. Hogan going to be called on the foul. She looks a little surprised.
Yeah, definitely something that she wasn't expecting, especially after a good run like that.
And sometimes on those calls, again, we talk about, even though you're not giving too much contact, if you're reaching over, if you're giving too much body, it usually is going to be called on a shot like that. And the result, it makes a huge difference. Zimmerman does drop that first one.
So waiting to see if they can at least produce on the free throw line, at least more. They can kind of force more of those foul calls, and maybe you start to close that gap.
And a really, oh no.
And upset is an understatement for what's going on the bench.
It looks like a timeout was called by Kalamazoo. I believe Mary Corbett, Kenyon College head coach, lost it a little bit, a little confused on how that call was able to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, it does give me a chance to mention that Quinn's going to close out the game for us, but I mean, still, it's just crazy how when I choose that I might have to take an exit, it gets a little bit crazy here. As you can see, everybody on that bench a little bit upset as the timeout got called before the point was played there, but I mean, it was just unlucky. I'm actually surprised that there was no type of warning to the bench. Head coach really upset, slammed on the chair, but anyways, you continue play. I am going to leave the stream for just a tad as, you know, duty calls, but I have to go do some stuff. I'm also a resident assistant, so a lot of things to handle, but Quinton, going to take care of you guys for the rest of the game here. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back for the men's game, so excited for that. But again, just really hoping that the Hornets are going to continue this pressure, continue kind of this press play that they're having. I mean, really the connection between Vanderstelt and Hogan has been phenomenal to watch. So seeing how they can kind of continue that, I'm excited to hear from Quentin how the rest of this one closes out. But that'll be it for me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Maya, for joining us. I had a great time commentating with you, and I will be in this next game with the men's versus Earlham. And a turnover, a quick turnover from the Hornets results in a quick bucket from Kenyon. This press is causing them a lot of problems.
Yeah, Hogan going to have to call the timeout. I'm almost sad to leave now, getting a little exciting. But anyways, here as the Hornets, I'm going to leave here with the Hornets sitting at 6-7 points. So what a perfect time for me to exit.
What a perfect time.
See you guys all back for the men's team, for the men's game.
Yes, and I shall be taking this one away with us with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock. We've got a timeout as we saw Ruby Hogan call one on that press. And I mean, I haven't seen a team have that much trouble with a press break, but Coach Ryan Clark, Seth Clark is the head coach of Bluffton University that we saw play yesterday against the men. But Ryan Clark going to be drawing up some sort of press break for his team. Got in a little bit of a smaller lineup with Dinda, Robertson, Wilkes, Hogan, and Vanderstelt. And we also see Kenyon run something a little bit similar. So Wilkes really got to take care of the ball here. Picks it up, finds Robertson. Robertson gets it past half court, and now take a deep breath. The Hornets have made it past. 15 seconds still left on the shot clock. And now Zimmerman. You really don't want that call this late in the game. The fouls will start to add up. And this is where Hogan now is going to have 2 shots at the line. So going to want to convert these 2 to make it a little more comfortable for the Hornets. Take this one to an 11-point lead as that one drops. Hogan has had a fantastic game so far, really showing her strength here at home. Had to miss the first few games due to soccer, and as we said, dual sport athlete. They had a pretty fantastic season in soccer. But anyways, those 2 have dropped. 12-point lead for the Hornets. Kenyon has to find an answer. Horsley doing a little bit of isolation on her own, showing her finesse inside. Unable to connect, though. Hogan now trying to beat this press before it's too late. Gets pressured. And Hogan had to take a fall, but a timeout was called by the Hornets. So a quicker timeout by the Hornets again. You know, they're comfortable with the lead they have, but only 1 timeout now for the rest of the game. So if things start to get a little crazy and somehow this Kenyon College team makes a comeback of some sort, Kalamazoo is going to be looking at that 1 timeout and wondering, you know, the risk you have to take. But anyways, looking at Kenyon College right now, I mean, Zimmerman really showing why she's a leader on this team. Not only offensively trying to spark something, but also defensively making an impact, leading her team. And as only a sophomore from New York, she shows her impact is necessary and made. So now Hornets here. They're past half court, so they don't have to worry too much about that press. But the defense will be swarming and suffocating. Hogan's going to try to get as much time off the clock as she can. Zimmerman, though, doesn't want to pressure too hard. Dinda looking around, goes back to Hogan. Vanderstelt flashing, gives the screen outside to Robertson with 1 second on the shot clock, and she lets it drop. Robertson with a big 3 and is trying to close this one out, the freshman from Grand Rapids. And Kenyon, the struggles continue. Unable to make anything fall. And Vanderstelt giving it back to the leader, Hogan. Zimmerman's going to apply that pressure, but They're starting to look a little deflated. The Owls are a little deflated right now. So Hogan dribbling around, finds Vanderstelt on the inside, and that's an easy layup from Vanderstelt. Taking this lead up even higher, and now with under a minute left, all signs of a comeback start to dwindle here. Zimmerman still putting some work in as she takes to the hoop. Rebound from Marzini, and Marzini does draw the foul. Hogan's chuckling after that one. I mean, the size advantage is there. But I do believe Dinda was called for the foul. So Marzini's going to take this one to the line and shoot 2 here. And I'd like to take this time to really quickly talk about Samaji Robinson. I remember I'm from Grand Rapids born and raised, played some basketball there, eventually had to stop, but I have watched a lot of Grand Rapids basketball, and watching Samaji play for Ottawa Hills is now Kenyon gets the and 1 rebound. Still, this game is pretty far ahead. I mean, the Hornets are leading, but that's a little discouraging. As I was saying, though, Robertson, a really fantastic player in Grand Rapids, was able to see her play in high school, and boy, was she good. I understand why she's been able to make such an impact for this team. And now it looks like Ryan Clark is going to call a timeout for Kalamazoo College. And I believe Ryan Clark just going to talk it over with his team. Tell them, hey, you got to stay clean here. We're up by 14. You don't want to get a little too far ahead of yourselves. You just want to keep staying clean. And they've done a pretty great job of that today, cutting down on the turnovers. They averaged around 19 turnovers a game before this, which is not necessarily the greatest number to look at. But today, they've cut that down and have shown off their skills as a team. That the chemistry is really there. There's an obvious connection between these ladies, and we've been able to see that today. And Hogan always leading the way. So now, Kenyon College not letting this one run away from them. Gonna foul Hogan. And although this one may seem out of reach, the Owls are gonna stay persistent and run their offense with the last few minutes and try to get a quick bucket. And hope Hogan misses, but Hogan does drain the first one. Take this lead up to 15. And Hogan does drain the second one. So 16-point lead for the Hornets. And if they win this one today, which all odds are likely for that to happen, will be their first win of the season. And honestly, I mean, looking at the stats, this is just a complete opposite in the trend, and it's very encouraging to see. As a team that is supposed to be ranked top 5 in the MIAA, you'd expect this type of play style and skill set from the Hornets, and today they've really shown their abilities. Kenyon right now, they've had a pretty solid season, although coming after a loss with Olivet, they have to be a little bit exhausted here today. When you're only resting for less than 12 hours and going right back at it, putting your nose to the grindstone, it can be difficult to stay consistent and persistent with your game plan, both offensively and defensively. And you think, usually those double headers only happen when you're a little kid because you're running all over the place, you've got all the energy in the world, but having 2 games back-to-back within 10 hours of each other, or maybe, excuse me, like within 24 hours of each other, it can be challenging. It's a big challenge, and that's a part of the sport. Kenyon passes it inside to Hardy. Hardy doing the classic move, able to get in front of Bauman there. Dinda giving it up to Hogan. Hogan was able to hold on to the ball, and now they're going to keep fouling. After a nice quick bucket from Hardy, it appears that Hogan's going to go to the line again. So we see all smiles from this Kalamazoo bench, and Hogan just now. It's very encouraging. Hogan drops that one, continuing the free throw trend. And that one's just a little bit off, but an instant timeout from Kenyon. So they can talk it over, and still trying to get a couple more buckets in a 15-point game. Kenyon, they're not giving up, that's for certain. And I would love to remind you all of the statistics that I'm looking at for the Kalamazoo Hornets and the Kenyon Owls, but it appears the Wi-Fi has gone out, and I am going to try my best to get those to you soon. And if you are able to stick around, please do, because we've got the men's team going up against Earlham College, which should be a pretty great game after last night in a close matchup with Bluffton. Shares the same conference as Earlham. It should be a pretty nice matchup between these two teams today. Now we see Kenyon going for the quick bucket. Malabashi unable to connect there. Zimmerman finds Hardy on the inside. Hardy draws the foul. And so getting two at the line. And with 16 seconds on the clock, I doubt they're going to keep, I doubt they're going to stop putting the pressure on Kalamazoo here. Coach Mary Corbett is persistent in trying to make the comeback, as she should be. And that first one does drop. And the second one is off, so Wilkes grabs it. And now they're not fouling anymore. So this one might be able to come to a close. Robertson makes a smart decision. Just going to let Hogan hold this one out. And that's going to be it for the Hornets today, getting their first win of the season. All smiles from the bench there. Hornets really showing their skills today. And now I am actually able to pull up the stats for you all, thankfully. Looking at Kenyon, who weren't able to pull out the win today. Hardy led the way with 18 points. Horsley led the way with 13. And Zimmerman with a cool 11. But you can really tell she is one of the leaders on this team and able to handle the ball like no one else. I believe she barely got a break. And for the Hornets, the women's team, Hogan led the way with 19 points. Vanderstel also led the way with 19. Both of them showing their dynamic duo and putting themselves on display with their skills. It's just incredible today, seeing that kind of chemistry. But don't forget about Bauman. She had a fantastic impact defensively, trying to guard Hardy, and really did show up today when they needed her most. And finally, just taking a look at some other statistics to note. Both teams under 12 turnovers today. Very clean, and a pretty great stat to look at for both teams. I know Kalamazoo's got to be happy with that one as well. But I'd like to thank you all for joining us for this matchup between the Kenyon Owls and the Kalamazoo Hornets. If you stick with us, you're going to be able to watch the men's team play against Earlham College. But for now, I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with you within 15 to 20 minutes. Thank you very much.